Now, this is something my first boss in the industry told me a long time ago. We're talking more than 30 years. Simple, but I've found it a very useful way to think about investing. He said, income growth equals capital growth. Okay, what are we talking about here? Often, when you talk to people about investing, you say, why are you investing? Why do you want to get out of it? And I'll say, oh, growth. Yeah, okay, well, what's that? And how do you come by growth? Oh, well, the market goes up and down. I want the market to go, I want the price to go up. Okay, now, perfectly reasonable to be thinking that way, given that every day on the news and in the papers, that's all they ever seem to talk about. The market's up today, or the market's down 0.5%, or something happened on the other side of the earth that sent BHP shares down 0.25%. Not really all that helpful, and it gives the impression that the share market is a much riskier place than it really is, and really it's putting the cart before the horse, okay? Because let's think about it another way. If you're going to buy a business, right, which is what you're doing when you buy shares, you're buying a part of a business. Now, it's perfectly reasonable that a business that earns a big profit is worth more than a business that makes a small profit. The market is prepared to pay more for something that throws off a bigger income. And consequently, it also follows that if the income of what you do own goes up, so does the value. So, in fact, let's test this over a long period of time, not just what happens from one day to the next, but here we're talking about 26 years. What if you invested $100,000 at the beginning of 1998, right? So 26 years ago. Now, this is the income return you would have received each year. Now, it wobbles around a little bit, but there's none of the volatility that the share market has got this reputation for. In fact, it's a strong trend of growth. In fact, thanks to Mr. Microsoft, here is the trend line, strongly upwards. Now, what happens to the value of your shares? Well, yep, there's the wobbling that we're talking about. There's some of the downturns. There's the GFC there. We've got the pandemic up there, and all these other things that send the market into conniptions. But over this long haul, it's clearly following the trend line of the income. So the capital growth is being driven by the income growth. So if I can just leave you with one suggestion, if you want a much lower stress investment life, think about the income. Look for that first. Not easy, because they don't talk much about income. It's much better to talk about these percent up and percent down each day. But think about income first, and that's the key to a stress-free investment experience.